Good morning. It is Thursday, September 29th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Now we are going to focus on what is happening in the U.S. Hurricane Ian has made landfall in southwestern Florida as a massive storm, lashing the U.S. state's Gulf Coast with powerful winds and heavy rainfall. Floridians have been told to brace for 2 to 3 days of pounding.
With wind speeds topping 250 kilometers per hour, Hurricane Ian ripped across Florida's Gulf Coast Wednesday afternoon. Waves turned streets into rivers. Florida's governor warning the worst may still be to come.
It is going to have major impacts in terms of wind, in terms of rain, in terms of flooding. So this is going to be a nasty day, 2 days.
Tens of thousands of homes are without power as utility workers from 27 states prepare to descend as soon as the storm clears. About 2.5 million people were ordered to evacuate, but some stay behind, risking everything.
It's my home. It's the only thing I have. I mean, and my mother, if that goes, then what do you do?
It's been decades since a hurricane of this magnitude hit Florida's western coast. Curiosity drew some people out onto an exposed seabed earlier Wednesday, the water temporarily sucked away by the storm's low pressure.
It's so dangerous to be out there, so even if you see the water receding, it's not the time to go out there and look at it or collect shells or whatever it is.
The National Hurricane Center is warning of catastrophic storm surge, winds, and flooding across Florida. As people sheltered in place, President Joe Biden said the federal government would help with search and rescue and recovery. He is also warning the oil and gas industry not to raise gas prices.
Do not, let me repeat, do not use this as an excuse to raise gasoline prices or gouge the American people.
Ian's slow movement across Florida means the state will likely be pummeled for days to come.
Let's go live now to get an update on Hurricane Ian, which has been fluctuating overnight between a Category 1 and a Category 4 storm.
We are aware that some Barbadians living in the Tampa area have evacuated as advised. There have been reports of electricity loss in some areas. The major concerns, in addition to the impact of the hurricane winds, relates to flooding and possible tornadoes. Throughout Florida, there have been consistent rain which has caused the ground to be very saturated. In such a situation, there's a high likelihood of flooding. Along the western and south coast of Florida, there's also the likelihood of negative impacts from storm surges. However, most Barbadians live inland rather than in close proximity to the coastline.
Mr. Grant also told CBC from all reports Barbadians took heed and were prepared.
Based on discussions with Barbadians and Barbadian Association leaders, they have been stocking up on food supplies and adhering to the recommendations of the state and local officials. Barbadians are encouraged to continue to follow the advice from these officials. We must ensure we protect life. The impact of Hurricane Ian will continue to be monitored. The Barbados Consulate in Miami will work with Barbadian associations, local and state officials, as well as with the Global Empowerment Mission in Miami to provide any necessary assistance to Barbadians negatively impacted by Hurricane Ian.
In our other top story this morning, back at home, Barbadians living in parts of St. Michael, St. James, St. George and St. Thomas are being told to brace for water outages and low pressure over the next few days. This is some of the major upgrades are in the pipeline, some major upgrades in the pipeline, with the Barbados Water Authority making and finalizing connections to its new pumping station in St. Stephen's. However, it means the system will be offline for a bit of a time, with production from the desalination plant on Spring Garden also being reduced. Director of Engineering Charles Leslie says the work is critical to improving the BWA's service for the long haul.
Taking Lodge Hill and St. Stephen's offline which is a major contributor to that system, will affect the water that goes into that system, and as a consequence, the customers will get low pressure. The work is expected to be completed on the 30th of September, which is Friday coming, but because the system is going to be down for an extended period, we will expect that customers for the next 2 days or so, especially those at the high elevations, like in Q-Land, Melrose, and some of those higher areas like Husband Heights, and so they will experience low pressure and periodic outages until the pressures in the system are fully restored.
People living in affected areas are being urged to store water for the next few days, and tankers will also be dispatched to service affected communities. We will keep you updated on that story as well. Coming up here on the Morning Report, updates on the pandemic and also on the war in Ukraine. On this World Heart Day, a leading consultant is unveiling a plan to provide better and more holistic care for the growing number of people living with heart disease in Barbados. Consultant internist at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Kenneth Connell, tells the Morning Report the healthcare system needs to emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic with a new structure catering to the most vulnerable in society. He says there needs to be a leveling of the playing field in healthcare, where fewer patients with heart problems are left to fend for themselves. The Deputy Dean in the Faculty of Medical Sciences at the UWI Cave Hill outlines his concept for a more nimble healthcare system.
Our health system needs to be agile. It can't be a fixed system of only, you get an appointment, you come to the hospital, you go to your polyclinic. The health system has to incorporate things like technology. We're having this conversation remotely, but the use of technology and telemedicine, telehealth. health support systems have to be emerged that are more fit for purpose. For instance, the home delivery system of medication needs to be expanded to include polyclinics and even private care. I would like to see a national system that allows for patients to kind of, like, you will book a taxi, book delivery of your medication and collection from a pharmacy. That's more kind of strategic. And then what about novelty and innovation in health science, such as many people didn't get into the gym. I mean, that's the excuse I used certainly for the last 3 years. You didn't get into the gym, and what happened? There were lots of remote gym sessions that were possible. So how do you get things like cardiac rehabilitation done remotely? And organizations such as the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados did just that. They went remote during COVID. The real test is going to be, how do we now marry the pre-COVID environment, which we all agree was not ideal, to this post-COVID environment, which had all these changes to our health system? What are the positive things that we can continue post-COVID?
Dr. Connell says responding to heart disease now hinges on finding technology best practices in healthcare.
The innovations in the health system, electronic medical records for tracking patients, electronic platforms so that patients can send their health data using their smartphones or even their smartwatches to the polyclinic or the hospital. These are technologies we use in a much smaller scale during COVID. We now need to build on it so that it becomes a COVID legacy that decreases heart disease.
The consultant internist also shed some light and gave an update on the Transitional Coordinated Care Program at the QEH.
These are health nurses that are out there specifically going and seeing patients in the community, organizing their care or coordinating their care, making sure they get the medication, that they get to their clinic appointment, even sometimes being with them at the clinic appointment to make sure that they're getting the right instructions and understanding them. What we need to do now is, besides collecting the data, and I'm big for data collection, being part of a university, but it now has to translate into our programs and systems of improvement. And the Transitional Care Program addresses one of the things that you just mentioned, which is the political determinant. So you no longer have to worry about, how am I going to get there? Do I have to pay that money to get a taxi? Because if you're part of the Transitional Care Program, they're also going to coordinate, for instance, whether you need an ambulance transportation to your appointment, or whether you need some kind of assisted care transport, or even it could be simple things like organizing a walker for you or a frame, because you can't walk unassisted.
In other news, let's go to what's happening in Ukraine. Russia is poised to formally annex parts of the country after the Kremlin conducted a referendum in 4 occupied regions to join Moscow's rule, a move decried by the Ukrainian government and the West.
It's always the same desolate scenes, ghost towns, destroyed, soulless. This is the cost Ukraine is paying to regain control of land that was occupied by Russia. We are in Vysokopedia in the north of Kherson region. The look on the faces of those who stayed tell the story. Here there is no sign of referendum, but the Russians are just 5 kilometers away, and people there vote to decide if Kherson should join the Russian Federation. The referendum is a sham according to the Kherson administration, now in exile.
We are getting information from local people there. You should understand, it's not a referendum, it's a movie. Everything is done for the cameras. There was no preparation according to the law. They are coming to people's houses with weapons and forcing them. They catch them on the street.
Zhana voted with her feet by escaping to the Ukrainian side. She won't show her face because some of her relatives are still in the Russian-held part of Kherson. She's worried about what could happen in the days to come. It's very difficult for us to speak to people who are living in areas under Russian occupation, and from here it is impossible to reach those areas. So we asked Andrei if he could call his mother, who is still in Kherson, and tell us what is happening there. About 200,000 people have been displaced by the war since it started 7 months ago. Andrei is one of them.
My father died 3 years ago, but when soldiers came to visit my mum, they were looking for her and my dad to vote. There are some people who voted for Russia, but not in big numbers.
Many others have fled regions where the referendum has taken place over the past 5 days. Mariana had stayed in Russian-controlled part of Zaporizhia for 7 months. She says being forced to vote was the last straw. But for her sister Vasilena, this is a bittersweet moment.
It angers me. All your life you grow up with people, you work with them, you live next to them, and then all of a sudden they embrace the colours of Russia, and they are happy and smiling that they are part of Russia.
And while the international community has declared the referendum illegal, Ukrainians fear that the vote will mean even more war and more devastation before they regain control of their country.
6:19 now on this Thursday morning. Let's go over to Pearson and hear what he has for you coming up on today's edition of Morning Barbados. Pearson?
Thank you, Shane. Good morning, everyone. Will you join me at 6:30 this morning? The Barbados Fire Service is having a fair this weekend. We'll give you the details and how you can be a part of it. Also, National Youth Week celebrations and activities continue. We'll update you on what's left to be done and what's on for today. And today as well, the Barbados Chevening Scholar joins us. It's a woman, and we'll want to hear from her what it was to receive the news and what it is that she will be doing next. Those and a whole lot more exceptional young people will join us in just a little bit when we start at 6:30. Shane, back to you.
Thank you, Pearson. Up next here on the Morning Report, more details on government's new deal with the IMF. We'll have that story and more on the Morning Report. The government of Barbados will soon have the potential to access more than $300 million to aid the country's economic recovery and climate resilience efforts. During a media conference hosted by Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley at Alara Court, comprising of IMF and high-ranking government officials, it was revealed that Barbados was not only entering a new extended fund facility arrangement, but would also be benefiting from the Resilience and Sustainability Facility, or Shane Jones reports.
The IMF's mission chief for Barbados, Bert Van Selm, welcomed the staff-level agreement reached with the country for the two programs which aim to strike a balance between enhancing resilience to climate change while also focusing on Barbados's continued efforts to reduce public debt and facilitate public expenditure to produce growth.
On access to the IMF's new Resilience and Sustainability Trust to build resilience against climate change with affordable long-term financing, at 150% of quota, that's SDR 142 million. The RSF will be accompanied by a 36-month arrangement under the Extended Fund Facility, EFF, with requested access at 90% of quota, or SDR 85 million.
Barbados will become the first nation in the world to access the RSF, which will provide funding to support Barbados's climate change adaptation and mitigation efforts and support the country's ambitious goal of transitioning to a fully renewable-based economy by 2030. Mr. Van Salm says the decision is a huge vote of confidence in Barbados.
There is also a need to be able and willing to implement a fund-supported program. And few countries have shown that ability, like Barbados has over the last 4 years, with reviews under the program completed like clockwork. That's fairly exceptional, and that, of course, gives a lot of confidence at the IMF, but also in the international community more broadly, that this is a government that can meet its commitments, that can do what it says it will do.
As it relates to entering another IMF program, Prime Minister Motley said, with the consecutive crises the world is experiencing, it is better to be safe than sorry.
None of us in this room or in this world 2 weeks ago could have anticipated either the impact that Hurricane Fiona has had on natural gas supplies, the impact that Hurricane Ian may have on the movement of goods, and I don't only mean food, but of course food as a primary concern, and 3, the impact that the explosion by whoever of the gas line in Europe will have on us and on the global community. And it is for these reasons that the government of Barbados, the cabinet of Barbados, has taken the decision after consultation with members of the social partnership, with members of academia, with other people, that it is better to be safe than to be sorry.
Ms. Motley had this message for critics of the decision to borrow.
Tell me which black person and which white person in this country that is Beijing can build a house without borrowing. Tell me which one. Tell me which one can undertake a business without borrowing. And it is no different, and that is why Mr. Barrow, and you can go and pull it from Hansard, made the statement back in the 1960s that anybody who does not believe in deficit financing is anti-development and does not want the people of this country to develop, and that carefully managed deficit financing is what is going to create the capacity, and the capacity that we create is what is going to give us the money to repay the loans that we borrowed to build the capacity.
And responding to if there will be any cost-cutting measures to hit the targets of the program, Prime Minister Motley said her government has proven it can handle difficult situations.
This government has already put in place a track record for how we can deal with people in an empathetic way and to ensure that there is no suffering or no major losses. And in fact, in many instances, what matters for us is ownership, and that there are opportunities for ordinary workers that we will put on the table as we go forward to ensure that as far as possible there can be a win-win for all Barbadians. But let's be straight. You can't do what we did for 10 years, get 23 downgrades, and believe that it is business as usual.
The agreement is subject to approval by the IMF's Executive Board. Shane Jones, CBC News.
In sports now, it will be the Jamaica Tallawahs who will be taking on the Barbados Royals in the final of the 2022 CPL final. The Tallawahs advanced to the big dance with a comprehensive victory over the host Guyana Amazon Warriors in the second qualifier last night. The Tallawahs were sent in to bat and posted a season record 226 for 4 off their 20 overs, led by player of the match, Shamar Brooks, who smashed 109 not out that was laced with 7 fours and 8 sixes. Imad Wazim added a quick-fire 41 not out of just 15 balls with 4 fours and 3 sixes. Wazim and Brooks added 103 for an unbroken fifth wicket partnership of 4.5 overs. That's carnage right there. Romario Shepherd, he took 2 for 43. We have the highlights from that innings. The Warriors were never on course to reach that mammoth target and closed their 20 overs on 189 for 8 for the Tallawahs to win by 37 runs. Kimo Paul top scored with 56, including 7 fours and a 6. Wazim took 2 for 25. So the Tallawahs Royals final is scheduled for tomorrow, is set for 7 p.m. and it will be live on MCTV's Sports Match channel. That's 310. That stumps on sports. Weather is next. It's pretty cool on the outside, at least it feels that way. 26 degrees Celsius is the temperature. We are getting some isolated thunderstorms and we do expect some more details coming from the Met Office on the weather later on this morning. It's feeling like 30 degrees Celsius. That's because the humidity stands at 88%. The barometric pressure is 10-11 millibars and the winds have really dipped, coming from the south at 6 kilometers per hour. We'll see a low tide this morning at 20 minutes past 11, that's if you're going to the sea. And a high tide around, that's 14 minutes to 6 in the late afternoon. The seas are smooth to moderate in open water. Swells are between 1 and 1.5 meters and increasing. Well, today across northern districts, you'll get some mostly cloudy to overcast conditions with the occasional intermittent scattered heavy showers, and there is a possibility of some thunderstorm activity. And tonight will be mostly cloudy to overcast with occasional intermittent scattered moderate to heavy showers. And here's the international weather forecast. That's our time for today's edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with headline news. Up next is Pearson with Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up, morning to you.
Indeed, good morning to you everyone. Welcome to today, Thursday, the 29th of September, 2022. I'm Pearson Bowen. Now coming up today, you'll have a chance to unscramble some letters. Yes, indeed, look out for that. Also today, poet Clarissa Williams will join us. She recently had the chance to wow the audience with her poem Garment of Love. She comes by today to wow you too. We'd also to meet today the youngest Founder Institute graduate. 11 years old, already doing tremendous things across the world, and so that Hey ambassador will come by to join us. We today meet an excellent 8-year-old artist, a student of the Blackman and Gollop Primary School. She has her art, she has the time, we have the time for her. So we'll be introducing you to this talent not to be missed this morning. Also, the Barbados Evening Scholar, recently awarded, joins us to talk about the journey thus far and the journey to be as she pursues that particular area of course of study. The National Youth Award activities continue. What's on today, what's on for the rest of the week, we'll tell you, but let's get started with the activities of the Barbados Fire Service. They're having on the weekend a fair, and joining us now to talk about what to expect is a First Divisional Officer Patrick Edwards and Shalika Charles, a fire officer. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Morning Barbados. The big activity is on the weekend, but leading up to that, let's talk a little bit about the Barbados Fire Service. Let's start with you, Shalika. Why did you first of all choose to be a fire officer, and how has it been thus far?
My reason for joining was because I always wanted to help people, and I wanted a job where I could help somebody, but not necessarily to make a profit. So I considered joining the Barbados Fire Service, and then I applied when I was 21, and then when I was 23, I got the call telling me that I could come to do the entrance exam, and then from there it's just been 4 years since then, and I haven't regretted it since.
A lot of people look and they think to themselves, you know, oh my goodness, that's such hard work that you guys are doing. How has that been in terms of getting yourself physically ready for the rigors of fire service?
It was a big shock, especially when I first started recruiting and we started to go through certain evolution. And then even before that, when we would have had to do the physical test in order to actually pass and get on to the other stages. So it was a big culture shock to see the different stresses that the body would have to be under, because obviously it's glamorized on TV. So getting to actually feel it and feel the equipment, it was a big shock.
But a good shock. One of the shocks that made you want to stick with the job and get it done. Because Barbadians need you. And so because we need you, we continue to salute you. Now, Patrick, good morning to you, Patrick, indeed, as divisional
Good morning,
officer.
good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Barbados.
You're done now? All right. That's all right. So, Patrick, as a divisional officer, you've been around. We've met you here on Mornin Barbados many times over. Your theme is resilience, reconnecting, renewal, retooling. And
Absolutely.
so you've been through generations, I think, of fire service. Let's talk a little bit about
Pearson, don't let me feel that. Don't let me feel that old. Come on.
All right, no problem, no problem.
Okay.
Let's look at some of the changes you've noticed, and what would you say to be some of the most outstanding changes that you thought, wow, we've come a long way?
Yeah, the Barbados Fire Service, like any other agency, we have seen quite a bit in terms of the different type of people that have joined the Barbados Fire Service. I can tell you that we are now having a lot more technically and I hasten to say brighter people, brighter in the sense that academically sound, and all the same though, I think the strong culture of the organization have caused these persons to come, despite their different strengths and their weaknesses, to come and meld into one particular part to be able to achieve the outcome that the fire service is looking for.
And a lot of what you're doing too is forging a relationship with the community where, each one helps one as well, and we know that we can respect the work of the Barbados Fire Service. So much so you're having a fair this weekend. Tell me a little bit about what one can expect and where it will be. Okay,
Pearson, let me start first of all. This is not a new concept for us. Back in 2019, I think it was July, we actually launched this particular fair or this initiative at the Bushall Community Center. And would you believe it that unexpectedly COVID came and just knocked the entire thing out of whack. And after those 3 years or so, we revisited the idea because we consider it to be important. We consider it to be a pillar of community response. And when we look around the region, and by extension the world, we've recognized that we are really feeling at the community level, because the reality is, and let's bring it back into the Barbadian context. If you have flooding, the first persons that are going to be on the ground is really the community. And those persons that really need help, the community members, they do not have the skills, they do not have the equipment to help. So they are constantly calling the emergency services and they're asking for help. What we want to do, we want to step out of the box a little bit. We want to be able to strengthen the pillars of our communities to ensure that in the event of any events that have outstripped the capacity of our country, that the community is strong enough to look after itself until the national response can actually cut in. So hence we have decided to use that team that you beautifully put there, and I want to take out that first word, reconnecting. We want to be able to reconnect again, and we are looking at relaunching this fair at the same Bushall Yard gap with the extension out to other communities from there on.
Right. So that the community is now able to help itself if need be as well. Absolutely. Not just in terms of fire rescue, but in any other emergency that might occur. And so, Shalika, the fair allows individuals to come and to learn more about what you guys offer and your skill sets, but to learn how we can now equip ourselves. How is that going to happen?
We will have a number of displays actually where people can actually get the hands-on practice to do these certain things. So whether it be learning how to tie a rescue knot, learning how to do an improvised harness, we will have fire officers there actually teaching you how to do it and then giving you the opportunity to try it for yourselves. And then you will be able to go and buy, because it's not like fancy equipment that you need to do these basic things. A piece of rope and you're pretty much good. So we are giving people the knowledge to know, okay, well, this is what I have to do, or this is what I have to tie in order to secure myself to this particular spot and help somebody who may be in danger, as my divisional officer said, when it comes to flooding.
But also to be able to handle one of those fire extinguishers, to know which one suits which particular room. All of those little details we'll get at the fair. So it's more an interaction with you guys, the fire officers, about best safety measures to employ in different scenarios and how to better able to respond when we have to respond. So it's going to be quite instructional, but it's going to be quite fun. And it starts at what time?
It starts at 10 and ends at 3. And we also have activities in place for the children as well. So you can bring the children along, and the adults can learn something and the children can learn something. And the opportunity to win some prizes as well.
Oh, wonderful. So it's a good reason to go. On Saturday, the 1st of October, at the Bush Hall Community Center. Is this the first of a series? Because Bush Hall is just one area, and people think that's a catchment area for St. Michael only. But what about the people in St. Lucie, St. Joseph, St. Andrew? Would opportunities be afforded them to equally have access to the fair?
Yes.
I'm going to...
Go ahead, Patrick.
Go ahead,
yes, go ahead, Charles. Go ahead, Charles. Okay, all right, no problem. Yes, like I said, it's a relaunch. And we're starting there again at Bush Hall. But the plan really and truly, it is very strategic. When you really look at the risk factors, the amount of house fires and the like that we have been having, we recognize that the St. Michael area is a hot spot for this type of activity. And if we can just cast our minds back just a few nights ago, we had 2 house fires in the St. Michael area. So yes, we are relaunching at Bush Hall, but we are going to be taking this program across the entire spectrum of the country, because our communities must be fortified. They must be strengthened to be able to help us.
That's right. The theme, resilience, reconnecting, renewal, retooling. It's coming to a space near you, but it's starting at the Bush Hall Community Center this Saturday at 10 in the morning. As many people as possible take some time to go, take some time to get to know how to help yourself in the event of an emergency, and you do not have necessarily to rely exclusively on the services of the Barbados Fire Service, because it takes time for them and the appliances to get to you too. But you can do so much to be able to avoid disaster by knowing what to do, when to do it, what to use, all of those things. So retool thyself, everybody, all today. And I really hope that many people do come and engage at the fair at the Bush Hall Community Center. I want to thank both of you for joining us today, and I really want to wish you the best with the campaign as you relaunch now starting this Saturday. Thank you so much, Shalika Charles and Patrick Edwards of the Barbados Fire Service. Thank you.
Thank you as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So from 10 in the morning on Saturday at the Bush Hall Community Center is where it's going to be for the Barbados Fire Service Community Fair. And we're hoping as many of you as possible, not from the catchment area alone, but from anywhere, you do come see and engage with what they're offering, and you better equip yourself and your relatives in the event of an emergency. We'll take a break right here. We're coming back with even more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
15 and a half minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock here on Morning Barbados. Just to let you know, tomorrow morning, Friday, we are coming to you live from St. James Parish Church, the location there. That's where we'll be as we interact with the people of St. James. We've been doing this now for the last couple of weeks, and so tomorrow is the turn of St. James. We've done St. John, St. George, and Christ Church, St. James. It's yours tomorrow. So bright and early tomorrow morning, that's where Morning Barbados and the Morning Report will be live on location to get to know more about the people and the different things of St. James, the history of the St. James Parish Church, and much more in that area as well. So we do look forward to you waking up bright and early to be with us tomorrow morning live from a location. Also, still to come, we'll give you a chance to unscramble some letters. We get to meet some very brilliant young people. One who is 8 years old, stunning work she's already doing in her chosen field, and so she will join me so that we can talk a little to her and we will see what she's been doing, and you will see that there is a genius in work that she's been creating, so look out for that. But all this week, National Youth Week, there have been many activities going on to engage young people and to engage the audience at large, the population at large. And so 2 more committee members of the National Youth Week Committee join us now. We want to hear what's on today and what's on for the rest of the week. Joining me at the moment is Rondell Trim and Destiny Taylor. Good morning, each of you.
Having us.
Well, Destiny, thank you so much. You seem to be the one. Rondell just dropped it. We'll try to work that out for sure. How's the week been going?
So far, the response has been great. We were able to attend all the events as we should, and it is so exciting to see young people excited about what we have in store. And I'm really, really looking forward to participating and really engaging with more of them as the week goes on.
Yes, because I know on Tuesday, owing to the weather conditions, you had the revamped, replaced open day. How did that go in Oyston's Bay Gardens?
It went really well. All of the different subsections of the ministry were there with all the information for our young people. It was just fun to see us in a space that is more engaging and where we were able to reach so many young people. Just seeing everyone there in the same space, talking about all the great programs that we had in store really did. It really did give me an added boost, and it made me feel proud of the work that we do at the ministry, and it reinvigorated my desire, or our desire, I should say, to continue serving the youth. When you see the response to one thing, it motivates you to go even harder and try even harder and put more effort into what we do to make sure that our young people benefit as much as they can from the programs being offered.
And there you are, a young one as well. And so you're using your energies in service of your country as well. And this is fantastic. Great work you guys have been doing thus far. Rondell, are you there? Rondell?
Yes, please. I'm here.
All right, good. Let's see if our internet connectivity stays good while we're together. How has it been for you giving back to the country in the way that you do as a member of the National Youth Week Committee?
It's been fantastic. Being able to, showcase the talents and the capabilities of young people is always fantastic. And this week, especially during National Youth Week, we've chosen to show a special emphasis in regards to youth talent and youth work. And for the few things that have gone throughout the past few days, everything has gone smoothly. The rain has kind of hampered some of our activities, but we've been going accordingly.
The rain is what we do. The rain is still part of how we live here on the island. And so, what's on today?
Today is the social media takeover. So what we are going to be doing today is that we're going to be inundating like Twitter, Facebook and Instagram with just posts from youth advocates and youth organizations in regards to youth issues. So things like sports, physical, mental and sexual health, unemployment, educational reformation. We're just going to be having different opinions in regards to these youth issues and solutions from it. And we're also going to be launching a new podcast from the ministry called Youth on the Pod. So today is going to be our first episode that's going to launch during the social media takeover. And then more episodes will be launched afterwards. So just look out for these posts that were on our socials, and the day is just going to be filled with different posts, videos, and our social media is just going to be filled with different things.
So here it is, on social media, you're going to be putting out comments, and I'm supposing you're going to be hoping that other young people themselves comment all as well, but you're launching Youth on the Pod. And so talk to me about that, Destiny. Do you know anything about Youth on the Pod? And tell me when, at what time of the day should I go to what social media handle to be able to see Youth on the Pod?
I think I know a little bit about Youth on the Pod since I was the person that was hosting it. So you can go to our social media page at DIV Youth 246 on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And at 1 p.m. you're going to be able to see the full episode, and we'll also be posting some short clips on our social media pages in between. I encourage all young people to leave a comment, share your thoughts. You know, that's very important to hear the opinions and the perspectives of youth. That is why we do it. So engage with all the content as much as you can.
Yeah, so it's a podcast. We can see it on your Instagram page or any of your other social media pages. And in this podcast, it's a collective of young people sharing perspectives on different subject areas. So for the launch today at 1 o'clock, you said, is it today?
Yes, please, at 1 p.m.
Good. At 1 o'clock today, when we tune into Youth on the Pod, what's the subject area you guys are going to be talking about?
Well, we have 3 subjects. Go ahead, Rondo.
There's going to be a variety of different subject areas. It's divided into 3. So the first one is going to be sports. The second one is going to be sexual, physical, and mental health. And the third is going to be youth unemployment and educational reformation. So we are taking a comprehensive approach to the different issues that plague young people in Barbados. We're hoping that persons tune in to see the different youth leaders and advocates talk about it so that they can have a better perspective to it. If they interact with it or they leave their comments on the social media pages, we'll be able to get their perspectives. And then through this, the ministry and I guess the rest of the ministries in Barbados can then rectify these issues or see to ameliorate these issues according to the perspectives and the wants of young people in Barbados.
So it's brand new, everybody, today at 1 o'clock on their social media pages, Div Youth 246 on Instagram, Division of Youth Affairs, and on YouTube as well, you can see Youth on the Pod. And while they're taking over, and they're encouraging as many people as possible to join the discussion on social media today, looking at a number of things, looking at today sports. Today, it's sports. That's going to be the main area of discussion. And so they're going to have varying views on sports today and over the coming weeks, a number of other areas of focus as well. And all of this, you're encouraging as many young people, I suppose, to respond. Don't just sit and even watch and say and laugh, but you should be able to comment, respond, engage, because at that engagement, then you get a sense of what's going on in their minds, and we also get a sense of how we can help. Not true?
Yes, yeah, most definitely.
I'll give this one to Destiny. Destiny, let me hear you.
Yeah, I think that an issue that young people face now is not having our thoughts and our perspectives heard. It feels sometimes, so we would have engaged them, or we're trying to engage them in topics that they can actually come and share their piece, you know, and they can share their perspective and do just that. We'll be watching, we'll be listening, we'll be taking it all in, and we're hoping that we can then use that information to implement different initiatives and projects for the betterment of young people. So if you're a young person watching here today, my bad, I encourage you, I implore you to reach out to us, to respond in the comments, send us a DM, anything. Just make sure you engage with the content.
Right, because you're taking over social media today. And so in taking over social media today, we want to encourage as many of you young people to follow them on their different social media platforms and engage with all of the subject areas that will be discussed today. Now, there's much more happening this week as well. That's only today, Thursday. What is happening tomorrow, what's happening right through? Who's going to update me on what else is to come?
Well, tomorrow we have our Youth Parliament debate. That is going to be very, very, very good. It's a more formal discussion. It's going to be happening in the House of Assembly. happening beginning at 10 a.m. and you'll be able to watch it on our Facebook Live at the Division of Youth Affairs 246. The same handle with the topic being education reform, which is a very, very prevalent topic. We're having many discussions on it now in the country, so it's very interesting to hear the young perspective on that. We had training last week for the youth parliamentarians, so the discussion should be hearty, it should be informative, it should be very riveting, so forward to that for sure. And then on Saturday, October 1st, we have our Youth Anti-Expo, which is taking place at Sky Mall from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And this essentially just gives young businesses or young people a chance to showcase their work, showcase their talents, their businesses, the products that they may have. And then we are to wrap up the week with our Battle of the Sexes memorial cricket match. So that should be, it's a little bit of a treat for the staff for the games, and it should be very interesting. And we implore all of you to come out and support at the Desmond Haynes complex. That's where it's going to be held. So that's what's happening for the rest of the week. But before we move on, I do have to mention what would have happened yesterday. We had our very special Get Hired program that happened within Youth Week. However, this is something that happens continuously, where the ministry partners with the Princess International Trust to connect young people seeking employment between the ages of 18 to 25 with employers, and they're able to receive training as it pertains to CVs and interviews, and also other soft skills which they then use in the interviews that we connect them with, the employers that we connect them with. So that team, the employability unit, has been doing an amazing job. So I could not talk the week without going back to what happened yesterday, even though it's on. So big shout out to the employability unit.
That's fantastic. So yesterday was Get Hired, where young people had a chance to interact with prospective employers or other people who train in getting oneself seen and be selected as well. So that was great, an opportunity for young people to be right when they meet that prospective employer. And there we are, we're seeing images. Lo, you had a really good turnout. That was fantastic. And don't forget, today is youth taking over social media. A lot of engagement there as well. Tomorrow is, remind me again?
Tomorrow we have our youth parliament debate.
Right. Tomorrow, Friday, is Youth Parliament debate, and they're looking at educational reform, so we need you all. I think I'm going to tune in because I'd like to hear their ideas and perspective. So much has been spoken about the way we do education, and the pandemic has really caused us to take another look at how education is delivered. So to hear from our young people in Youth Parliament from the Chambers of Parliament tomorrow is going to be really, really good. See it on Facebook, see it on YouTube. Then on Saturday the 1st, you're having your Youth and Talent Expo at Sky Mall in Haggett Hall from 10 in the morning. 10 in the morning. Plus, along with all of that, you'll have some face painting, modeling, food and fun, giveaways and the like. So as many of you as possible, including young people, to come on down, join them, the showcase of the island's amazing entrepreneurs and young talent. And there's going to be a whole host of fun, locally crafted gifts and all sorts of other things. We want as many of you as possible to be at Sky Mall, spend the day. And somebody tells me by the pictures I saw there as well, they're going to be in the corridors, they're going to be on the pavements, they're going to be all over Sky Mall. So there's not one space alone. Just browse them all and you'll see all that's on offer there. And then you end with that Talent Expo. This is really, really good work you guys have done. I want to commend you on your planning, commend you on your activities all week long and your energy to get it going. And I really hope that our young people do engage with the rest of the week, and in particular today as youth take over social media. Thanks, both of you, for joining us. You've left this old man feeling very proud of the future that is resting well in the hands of you two young people, Rondell Trim and Destiny Taylor, both committee members of the National Youth Week activities. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. You're very, very welcome indeed. Morning Barbados takes a break here, and we're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7 o'clock in Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. Still to come, a chance for you to unscramble some letters. We meet some very young entrepreneurs themselves, working hard, exceptional young people indeed. And we meet the woman whose performance of Garment of Love wowed the audience. We can't wait to be wowed by that performance as well when she joins us in just a little bit on Morning Barbados. Time for the news. Here's Shane Seeley.
Thank you, Pearson. Here's your headline news for this Thursday morning. One of the most dangerous storms to hit the U.S. in years has left 2.4 million homes and businesses in Florida without power, and flood waters are surging inland. Hurricane Ian made landfall at around 3 yesterday afternoon on Wednesday, smashing into the coast with wind speeds of up to 241 kilometers per hour. That's 150 miles per hour. Dramatic scene saw a hospital roof blown off, cars submerged, and trees ripped out of the ground. The Category 4 hurricane was later downgraded to a tropical storm. However, Floridians were warned that the most dangerous 24 hours lay ahead, and the mayor of Tampa has urged people to shelter in place through the night into this morning. Now, there are Barbadians in Miami among those who are riding out Hurricane Ian. When the system made landfall, it was one of the strongest, as we said, to hit the U.S. state of Florida. Consul General in Miami, Rudy Grant, says based on early reports, there were no major issues among Barbadians there.
We are aware that some Barbadians living in the Tampa area have evacuated as advised. There have been reports of electricity loss in some areas. The major concerns, in addition to the impact of the hurricane winds, relates to flooding and possible tornadoes. Throughout Florida, there have been consistent rain which has caused the ground to be very saturated. In such a situation, there's a high likelihood of flooding. Along the western and south coast of Florida, there's also the likelihood of negative impacts from storm surges. However, most Barbadians live inland rather than in close proximity to the coastline.
Back at home, brace for water outages or low pressure if you're living in parts of St. Michael, St. James, St. George, and St. Thomas. The Barbados Water Authority is moving ahead with major upgrades, finalizing connections to its new pumping station in St. Stephen's. However, it means the system will be offline with production from the desalination plant on Spring Garden also reduced. Now, the Director of Engineering, Charles Leslie, explains the work is critical to improving the BWA's service for the long haul. He says residents will be affected over the weekend.
Taking Lord Show and St. Stephen's offline which is a major contributor to that system, will affect the water that goes into that system, and as a consequence, the customers will get low pressure. The work is expected to be completed on the 30th of September, which is Friday coming, but because the system is going to be down for an extended period, we will expect that customers for the next 2 days or so, especially those at the high elevations, like in Q-Land, Melrose, and some of those higher areas like Husband Heights, and so they will experience low pressure and periodic outages until the pressures in the system are fully restored.
People living in affected areas are being urged to store water for those next few days, and tankers will be dispatched to service those affected communities. To check if your community will be impacted, visit the BWA's website or get details from the authority's social media pages. On this World Heart Day, a leading consultant is unveiling a plan to provide better and more holistic care for the growing number of people living with heart disease in Barbados. Consultant internist at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Kenneth Connell, tells the Morning Report, the healthcare system needs to emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic with a new structure catering to the most vulnerable in society. He says there needs to be a leveling of the playing field in healthcare, where fewer patients with heart problems are left to fend for themselves. The Deputy Dean in the Faculty of Medical Sciences at the UWI Cave Hill outlines his concept for a more nimble healthcare system.
Our health system needs to be agile. It can't be a fixed system of only, you get an appointment, you come to the hospital, you go to your polyclinic. The health system has to incorporate things like technology, we're having this conversation remotely, but the use of technology and telemedicine, telehealth. Health support systems have to be emerged that are more fit for purpose. For instance, the home delivery system of medication needs to be expanded to include polyclinics and even private care. I would like to see a national system that allows for patients to kind of, like, you will book a taxi, book delivery of your medication collection from a pharmacy that's more.
And he went on to say responding to heart disease now hinges on finding technology best practices in healthcare.
The innovations in the health system, electronic medical records for tracking patients, electronic platforms so that patients can send their health data using their smartphones or even their smartwatches to the polyclinic or the hospital. These are technologies we use in a much smaller scale during COVID. We now need to build on it so that it becomes a COVID legacy that decreases heart disease.
And that's our headline news for this Thursday morning. I'm Shane Seeley. It's back to you, Pearson.
Shane, thank you. We'll take a break here. We're coming back with more on Morning Barbados in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 7.5 minutes after 7 o'clock. Before we continue, just to let you know, parents and students of the Grantley Adams Memorial School is open today. As you know, it was closed over the last couple of days owing to some other things that we're dealing with. But students, get up, get ready. Teachers, get up, get ready. Parents, get them up and get them ready for school today at the Grantley Adams Memorial School. So school definitely is on today. Classes are opened. They're waiting to have you come in and engage in education today at the Grantley Adams Memorial School. So yes, school is on. No need to check anymore. Now you know school is on at the Grantley Adams Memorial School. Speaking of schools, we have a scholar with us. The Chevening Scholar for Barbados for 2022 is Renee Critchlow. She joins me now. Renee, good morning.
Good morning.
Firstly, congratulations on being awarded a Chevening Award Scholarship. And how did that make you feel to know that among the thousands, you were one selected?
Well, good morning and thanks again for the congratulations. And it was a feeling I really cannot describe. I was overwhelmed with excitement. I cried when I got the news. It was this great feeling.
Someone would say, but you're a big woman. What do you mean you're overwhelmed? You're crying. You've been here before.
Yes, but the thing is because of the process that I went through. And also there was a part of me that was thinking that I probably wouldn't have gotten through. So when I got that email that morning, it was just a lot of emotions. Yeah, I'm a big woman, but still, each of us still have emotions that we will go through.
That is true. You said the process had you doubting yourself whether or not you were successful. What was that process that you had to go through that casted that doubt on you?
Well, when I got to the second phase where I was shortlisted to have the interview, I did the interview, and honestly, I thought that I just did okay in the interview. So a part of that, I was like, maybe I might not get through because I didn't think that it went extremely well. I just thought it went okay. So it was like, I might get through, I might not get through.
Yes.
I'll just wait and see. Yeah.
And so you waited and you found out. So you said it was early in the morning you got the email. And so were you expecting, were you like one of those who you, as soon as you woke up, you just turned on to check, or was it casual browsing that then, hey, I have mail?
Well, like a lot of people, sometimes when you roll over, you might just look at your phone. I saw that there was something there from Chevening that popped up as a notification.
And
So
you
I was like,
started
all
to
right, let
tremble.
me just open this. I thought I was like, all right, let me just open this and see. I opened and it said, congratulations, we were impressed with your application and your interview, and you have been awarded the Chevening Scholarship. So I flew out of my bed, went to the window that was outside. I started to cry. I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I called my sister, let her know I get through.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. I love the emotions that flow naturally with all of this. But here it is, you have your bachelor's in information technology. And so one would assume that acceptance as a Chevening scholar, that's what you will want to pursue. What is it that you're hoping now to do now with this scholarship?
Well, just going back a little bit, I also run my women's wellness business, React Fitness. So that was running for the past 10 years. And the reason why I would have been encouraged to apply for this scholarship is because of some of the things that I'm looking to do in my business. And it was kind of me thinking that this might be the next step. So there are different things that I am looking to do with the master's, because I am pursuing a master's in public health at the University of West London. So there are different things I'm looking at in terms of policy reform, especially in the area of women's health, and also in relation to the issues that we have currently in the Caribbean related to childhood obesity and other non-communicable diseases. A lot of them, some of these things are also going to be stemming back to what happens in the womb when a woman is pregnant, because there are different things that I believe should be put in place and should be a lot more focused on, so that we can start to improve the health outcomes of children, women, and the entire society on a whole. So that is what I'm looking forward to this process, learning a lot of things. And I will say initially, I did not get through to the university that I wanted to get through to, but I saw this as an opportunity to still be able to impact and add value to my country when I return.
Then I'm curious, what's the lesson you learned? You applied to a particular university you didn't get through, and then the Chevening Scholarship turned up, and here it is. What have you learned in all of that?
Well, I had applied for the Chevening Scholarship, so once I knew that I sent in my application, then I looked for the university because I wanted to do a master's in women's health. When I applied to 2 universities. Both of them just sent an email through their portal saying that my application was rejected. I would say that I felt very upset, and I was not even going to think about doing the interview when I knew that I was shortlisted for an interview. But I was still encouraged to do that, because at the end of the day, sometimes things do not work out the way that you want them to work out, or the way that you want them to happen. But there is also another opportunity. I am looking at this whole experience as an opportunity where, because I didn't get through in one area, it doesn't mean that I cannot still focus on women's health, because women's health is still a public health issue. So that is how I had to reframe it. And then from the advice of a previous scholar and my family and friends, they're like, you can still make an impact. You can still do what you want to do. Just because I didn't get through to a particular university doesn't mean that that is the end of the world. There are more opportunities. It's just for me to not be blindsided or just focus on one particular thing. There's a lot of other things that can happen, and I know that I will still make the impact that I believe that I can do.
I'm so glad you shared that, because I wanted you to go there, because I believe that's inspiration for someone else who wants to give up because they didn't get what they thought they wanted. But here it is, you persevered, and through the assistance, you knowing full well what you're supposed to do, you followed your purpose, and it all evolved in the way it has. And this is tremendous indeed. And so, Renee, when do you leave to take up the scholarship full time?
I am already here in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah. I left on the 15th of September, and my classes are going to start the 5th of October.
So, in terms of acclimatizing, how has that been for you? Because in the UK, not Barbados.
It is interesting, because let me not say interesting. I will be real. It is cold for me. It is cold. I have to layer up to yesterday. Around 12 is now 12:16 p.m. here, and it is 11 degrees outside. Ooh. That is how it was yesterday. And I had on a vest, a long sleeve shirt, a sweater over that, and a pea coat over that. Gloves, hat on my head, and long jeans and leggings under my jeans, because it is cold. I'm accustomed to warm weather and wearing short pants and stuff like that, but I have to be fully clothed here, because getting accustomed to this weather is not easy. It is not.
I feel your pain. Trust me, I do. But it's so good to have met you this morning, Renee Critchlow. As a Chevening scholar, I'm so proud of the fact that you've been able to persevere to do what you want to do, and to do what you have been set here to do, to pursue wellness for women, indeed, in all of its areas of public health. Activist you truly are. And so congratulations on achieving your Chevening scholarship. Congratulations on being accepted into the university there. Congratulations on all of your endeavors, because I know you will be a success, and for everything else that you're doing. Thank you for joining us here on Morning Barbados. You know, we have selected you as one of our exceptional young people, and it's been wonderful to talk to you today.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome indeed. Thank you so for joining us. Renee Critchlow, she's a Chevening scholar, and we are celebrating all about her today. There's some other exceptional young people. One who's only 8 years old I shall meet after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Now listen, see this little girl next to me? I have been so excited to meet her this morning. Yesterday, little chatterbox next to me was telling me and sharing with me all of her art. Her name is Melissa Eiffel. She's a student of the Blackman and Gollop Primary School. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good.
Oh, wonderful. Good to meet you. You are an artist.
Yes.
How long have you been painting now? Or do you paint?
Yes, I do.
Or do you use the computer?
I love to paint.
Why?
Because it's fun and it entertains me.
And it entertains you?
Yes.
So how does it entertain you?
How you get to move it and control it, and it's always just fun to do.
You know, it's so hard for me. I think I'll just dirty up the paper when I paint. For true, seriously. She's laughing at me. But that is so what's the skill? What's the art? How do I keep it within the confines of this one piece of paper and get my art done?
All you have to do is focus and just make up something and just see if you could get there and try.
But I did that and it didn't work. So what now do I do?
The first time I started, I went for YouTube and I always type in how to draw and I just start drawing by myself.
Oh really? So then that's what I should do?
Yes.
Like a little boy, go to YouTube and search for it, right?
Yes.
She's telling me, teaching me this morning, girl. So what do you like to draw? What do you like to paint?
I just like to do like people. I'm still working on like background items and stuff. So yeah.
And you're only 8 years old?
Yes.
You know, I see you as a genius because what you can do, I cannot. So, don't laugh at me. So you have to be, for me, a genius. So you paint a lot of pictures of people and that kind of thing. You're working now on scenery and that kind of thing as well, right?
Yeah.
How much time in a day do you spend doing your art?
I think it's about an hour or so.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you find the time?
It comes to me whenever.
Clearly it does. It comes to you whenever. So then on a day, you would go home from school and you would start to take up your art and start to do it?
No, I would just do some other things, quick things first, and then I will just do that after.
Right, and you can spend maybe hours doing it, right?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
For true. Look at this. Look at this on that little monitor right there.
Yeah.
Tell me about this piece of art here.
So there was just this day, I was just like, I feel like drawing something. So I just decided I should draw this beautiful girl. So I decided to do all this, and I made the details look good and stuff. And then it just came together, and I was like, wow.
I'm wowing too. So this is purely from your imagination, or is this the face of someone who you've seen before?
This is my imagination.
That's your imagination? Yeah. Oh, really? And so she has long hair?
Yes.
And she's out there on the field standing and almost as head to the sky. I love it indeed. But that's really beautiful. So how long did it take you to do that particular piece?
To draw and color it, you could say that took me a couple minutes. Or I could say it took me an hour and a half.
Oh,
because you have to take your time to sketch and draw it at the same time. So you could say it took me an hour and a half.
Okay.
To draw and color.
You know it will take me a whole day. I am very, very serious, a whole day. So you love to draw people, you say to me. Is there anyone who's very popular and familiar who you have done? No.
No, not really.
Do you do art at school? Or is there art taught at school?
No.
So where did you get this skill from?
Probably from YouTube, I guess.
You're right.
When I was younger, I used to read lots of books. I used to see these cute, fun little drawings. I said, what, I want to be an artist.
Wow.
So I just started looking for YouTube, and then I find all these interesting, cute art. And I was like, what, I want to try.
So you've always been this way minded. This is fantastic. But you love to read. You made this old man very, very proud to hear you say that just now. Because I think reading is so important, don't you?
Yes.
Why?
Because it helps you learn more words.
Words, but it also takes you places. You go places in your imagination. I know. Look, we're showing some more of your work. Who is this?
Her name is Zamina.
Zamina?
Yeah.
How did you come to that? That's the name you just picked out of your own head?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never went on YouTube and start looking.
Right. So what was Zamina doing there just now?
Zamina was just standing there.
Oh, yeah. This, could we bring that piece back for a second? This one, tell me about this one.
So I was just had some laying around cardboard, and I said, I really think this is good cardboard. I should make something. So I just went on YouTube, look how to draw a couple parts of her, like the eyes and stuff. And then I just came together and draw this. And then I said, you know what? My favorite color is purple and blue. Why don't we make her my favorite color, purple and blue? So then it just come to my mind. I said, that is cute.
It is cute, indeed. Do you ever want to display your art? Do you want to have your own gallery of art and, you know, be on show?
Of course.
Really?
Yes.
For true?
Yes.
When do you hope to do so? You can do it at this age, you know.
Probably when I get a little older, or I might start when I get 11 or so.
Oh, 11 is really old, isn't it?
Yes.
11 is really old. So here it is, Melissa, you are so intelligent, you're so well spoken and the like. You must startle your teachers at school. Do you?
Yes.
And they're thinking, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with this little girl, Melissa? She's so talkative and she's so very good. So did you tell them yesterday when we spoke, I told you go and tell the others at school you're going to be on TV today, did you?
I did.
You shared it with the entire class?
Yes.
So you think they're watching this morning?
Yes.
Who's your teacher?
Mr. O'Neill.
Oh, Mr. O'Neill. Is Mr. O'Neill any good at art?
He's an artist because everything we see in our classroom he made.
Oh, really?
Yes, by hand.
Well, that must be inspiring.
Yes, he says he's an artist. He said he wanted to be an artist.
Uh-huh. So therefore you can connect with him very easily at that level.
Yes.
This is super. What do you want to be when you eventually leave school and now you become a big old woman and you have to find something to do? What do you want to do?
I was thinking of be a businesswoman or something. Because I had a dream that I would move LA or Texas. And I would go, or sometimes we'll go for family vacation when I get older and I get some money. That's what I was thinking.
Really?
Yes, so that is my dream and I hope it happens.
So wake up that dream now. So what do you think you now need to do to make sure you realize that dream?
I think I would just start looking for courses or anything to do. Something that would be suiting as like kind of like a side job. Something like that.
Something like that. Have you had that discussion with Daddy? By the way, her daddy works with us here on Morning Barbados. Have you had that discussion with him?
Yeah, I had
Well,
with Mommy too.
with your well, he's hearing you now, girl. He's hearing you now for sure. And so, when you had those discussions, what did your parents say?
They said yes, of course.
Whatever Melissa wants,
Yes.
Melissa shall have. Right?
Yes.
I love it. Listen, look, people are talking about you. This one here, Carol Ann Martin, says, oh my God, she's an amazing young girl. I love her attitude. The sky is the limit, sweetheart. Congratulations to you and your family. Great work. So people are talking about you on social media. Patricia Ben, oh, she's a darling. So lovely, beautiful little girl. We're very proud of you, Melissa. Oh, that is sweet. Roosevelt Bacco Corbin, he's in New York, by the way. And he says, intelligent and adorable. I love the way this little lass is handling this. So cute. Nice. This must make you feel, oh, there is. You see the comments are coming through? Can you read that one for me?
Wow, she's having dreams. Hope all her dreams come true.
Yes, indeed. That's from Vereen Walker. They are talking about you on social media. I love it. Thank you, indeed. Now, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Anything. Anything that's nice.
Anything that's nice?
Yes.
So when it's not nice, it makes you very unhappy.
No, I'm still happy. I'm
Really?
always happy.
That's impossible.
I'm always happy.
That's impossible.
How do you mean that's impossible?
How do you mean it's possible?
Some people are always happy.
Some people are.
And I'm one of them because I'm always happy.
Okay, you're one of them. Clearly I'm not, right? I like this girl. I really, really like this girl. So, is there any particular artist whose works you've looked at and you thought, you know what, mine is similar to theirs? Is there anyone?
No, only on YouTube. I mean, I had them white down in my book, and they're at home right now.
There's an artist known as Masquiat. He's dead now. He died quite young. I think so too. He was a Haitian artist. He existed in New York, in North America, but he was so good, and people didn't quite understand his art until quite later. I think that's what's going to happen to you.
I think so too.
Yes. So see, at least we agreed on something.
Yes.
Right away there. So what class are you in? Mr. O'Neill's class? What is there a name? Is there a name for your class? Or is it just class 1, class 2?
Class 1 star.
Class 1 star. And it's class 1 star because you're a star, right?
Yes.
And everybody say your class is a star too.
Yes.
Is there anyone in particular you want to say good morning to? Look right there in that camera and tell them.
Probably my best friend
Look
Sydney.
right there and tell right there.
My best friend Sydney
So
and
hi, Sydney.
Ariel. Hi,
Oh.
Sydney. Good morning, Sydney.
Good morning, Ariel. That is sweet. And Mommy's watching as well, no doubt. So this is fantastic. Melissa, it is so wonderful meeting you. I can't wait to, thank you. I can't wait eventually one day to come to your exhibition to see the rest of your work. And of course, as you look at this here. Isn't this beautiful?
Yes.
You can feel the energy in this art. You can actually feel her moving. Look at this. Hey, peace. This is sweet. This is sweet. You really are doing some tremendous work. You're very young and tender age. This one? Yeah. What makes this your favorite?
How? Because she's so cute, and I think she's the best one I ever done.
Oh, and you love your purple and blue. This is really, really good. And this is a different person here.
Yes, that's the favorite right there. You see, she's the queen.
Mm-hmm. I see that. She's wearing her crown.
Yes. She's by a tree and she's on her knees.
Right. Now, what's that in your lap that you have?
In my case with all of my markers. You want to see?
Seriously? Yeah, of course I want to see. I want to see what I need to go and buy so I could be just as good as you. So let's just lift it a little bit. Turn it around. Now you see that little monitor we were looking at? Right, good girl. She's been hanging around us long enough to know what to do. And so all of these are your implements that you use?
Yes, all of them.
What's this conch shell? Why is this conch shell in here?
Yes. Put it to your ear. You hear the ocean.
I don't hear anything.
That's a bit closer.
I don't hear anything. So that's what I'm hearing, the ocean?
Yes.
Oh, really?
And I customize it with these sand markers.
Oh, very good. So who told you about the conch shell?
No one.
You read about it?
No.
So how do you know that if you put it to your ear, you'll hear the ocean?
My daddy told me.
I told you somebody told you. I know you couldn't figure that out on your own. I like this child. Oh my goodness. Her name is Melissa Eiffel. She is a talent from Barbados indeed, and she is young. She's only 8 years old, but you saw the work that she's doing, and she comes from the Blackman at Gollop Primary School. Mr. O'Neill is teacher. Vereen Walker says, we love you, sweetheart, and very proud of you. Your parents are equally proud as we are here at Mornin Barbados as well. We had to have you on, Melissa.
I know.
And so you're going to come soon?
Yes.
Good.
With more art.
Well done. So you do that. Vereen says she's also funny. A young man says you're quite intelligent. There are people talking about you so. I love her. Caroline Martin says, wow. So when you come back, maybe if you could go away and paint me.
I'll think about it.
All right, you don't have to do it then if you're going to think about it. You don't have to. I'm sorry for asking.
I'll do it.
You sure?
Yes.
Paint me well here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, all right?
Yes.
And have a great day at school.
I'm
sure your friends can't wait to see you when you walk through that school gate this morning.
I know.
I know. Thank you so much, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh, I just would love to be able to sit here and continue talking to her. Wouldn't I? I do. She's such a darling indeed. Morning Barbados takes a break here. We're coming back in just a moment. 24 and a half minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. I'm still sparkling after that exciting experience there with Melissa. But next is an 11-year-old who is a Hay ambassador from Pakistan. The first name is Iman and the last one is Khan. Oh, you love the rhyme right there. Iman Khan of Pakistan joins me now. Iman, good morning to you.
Hi, hello.
Long time no see. How has it been?
It's been amazing. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you for asking. Now, to reintroduce you, you have been considered the youngest, one of the very youngest to have won an award and to be able to graduate from a particular school. Talk to me about that.
It's actually a National Incubation Center from Karachi. About them. So I basically graduated from one of their cohorts, cohort 5. And if they're watching, hello, and thank you so much. So, that's a little bit.
Right. Now, you are what you call yourself an ecopreneur. Ecopreneur, what is that about?
So I basically work for the environment, which is Earth Warriors Pakistan is about. It basically is targeted for children under 15 years of age. So it teaches them about the basics of climate change. So we've launched the Pakistan chapter, and we're also launching a UAE and a Caribbean chapter too.
Oh, really?
And we're going, yeah.
So the Caribbean chapter, let's hear about that. How are you going to go about doing that? Who have you been able to network with so that it really becomes a reality?
So I've been doing this with collaboration with the Ashley Lashley Foundation. So basically it's teaching the children of the Caribbean about the threats the Caribbean region is facing.
And what do you see that threat to be?
So Caribbean region has many threats. It's one of the main people that are being affected by climate change. Most signs are shown until now. So to show what the children can do, because sometimes children think they're so small and they can't do anything, and I think that's really wrong.
Yes.
So children can do anything that adults can do.
Here it is.
That's basically my.
Here it is, you. Look at you. You're 11 years old and you've been doing this for a while now as an ecopreneur, about at 11 years old to launch the Caribbean chapter of all that you do. How is that chapter going to work? When you launch it, what is going to pull in from people from across the region, the Caribbean region, but how are they going to interact in that chapter? What's the platform?
So basically in Earth Warriors Pakistan, when you log in, there's 3 chapters of the Pakistan and UAE, and now the Caribbean region that's going to be launched. So after doing all of those courses, which are animated in a fun way, with a superhero called Fiza, an eco-friendly doll. For example, I think you know about Dora the Explorer, right?
Yes.
So Dora the Explorer teaches children about shapes and all that stuff. So Fiza is a bit like that. She's a doll, an eco-friendly doll in a Pakistani attire that teaches children about climate change. So after going through all of those courses, they are going to get a certificate if they want. Right. So that will teach the children.
The people are talking about you too. They said, wow, amazing, congratulations, Iman. And so that's wonderful, Iman, congratulations. You people are talking about you. But here it is, at 11 years old, and you are thinking in this way and creating things in this way. What's been inspiring you at 11 years old to keep going and to come up with these concepts and ideas? What is it?
So, I travel to the northern areas of Pakistan a lot. One example I like to give is the Mahoodan Lake. It's a really, really pretty lake. It has, I even made an artwork about it. There's a lake, and in between of it, there's an island there are a lot of trees in it. So I first went there when I was 5 years old. And then 1 year later, when I went there, so the whole thing had really changed. The little island I was talking about, most of the trees had been cut down, and there was coal on the ground indicating barbecues. And that really hurt me because, and most of the animals there, like they're like a lot of horses there, and I always used to go to pet one, and I didn't really see many of the things. Uh, and like that really hurt me, and like the floods that are happening right now because of the glacial lake outburst floods, most of the place has been completely destroyed, and literally no one is talking about that.
Wow, and there it is. Out of that sensitivity, you've become the ecopreneur that is a go-to across the world indeed, and you're continuing to impact so many other people. Soon you'll be launching the Caribbean chapter of what you do. When do you hope that launch to be? When do you think it will happen?
It's top secret.
I keep great secrets. I keep great secrets. These ears and these lips hold it in. So nonetheless, I'm hoping that when it launches that you come back to us on Morning Barbados and we talk some more so we can tell the whole world and share with everyone, and indeed that we can all engage on your platform. Iman Khan, it is as always quite inspiring interacting with you. At 11 years old, you're continuing to change the world in your way and change it for the better as well. I love your passion. I love your insightfulness. I love the fact that you are committed to this, and that through that commitment we are seeing the change that you're talking about. Thank you for joining us here on Morning Barbados yet again.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we look forward to seeing you again soon, all right?
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye indeed. Bye-bye. Iman Khan of Pakistan, one of the Hay ambassadors, but as a young 11-year-old ecopreneur, she's encouraging all of us, even in the region. Hopefully one day, very soon, she says it's a secret, she'll be launching soon, a Caribbean chapter where we can all internet connect as regions of the world to attack some of the climate change issues that are affecting all of us. We're taking a break here. When we come back, more on Morning Barbados. Now don't forget, school is definitely on at the Grant Lee Adams Memorial School today. School is on. Our next exceptional young guest has recently wowed an audience in town when she performed Garment of Love. She joins us now, and her name is Clarissa Williams. She's a poet. Good morning to you, Clarissa.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome, and thank you for being the creative that you truly are. Tell me about this Garment of Love that made everybody go, wow.
Garment of Love, the piece came about on the thought of love being something tangible, that we could actually wear. Everyone loves love for the most part. They love to give love and love to receive love. But, when you're shopping, for example, and you're looking at clothing, you want to choose clothing that, is of the best quality. So imagine that, with love, you should want the best quality of love for yourself if it was something that you had to wear.
That's interesting. So clothe yourself in your best quality love. And so in doing that, and so what was it that you think that made the audience respond to your rendition of that, you think, that resonated with the people?
I think it was just a point of view that people didn't expect when you're talking about love. And I would in the piece, how the love is keeping me. So I wouldn't need to go shopping again, basically. That was the part that made the audience laugh.
I am sure they'll see how I laugh myself. I can imagine that's what's going to happen. So how long have you been writing and reciting and the like?
Well, I started writing from very young just because I always had ideas and thoughts that I wanted to put on paper. I only recently started back writing in 2019 is when I really got back into poetry and writing all things, that I felt I needed to talk about.
Wow, and so that's since 2019, truly that's what you've been doing. What was the name of the first piece that you ever wrote? Do you recall?
I do not recall the name of the first piece, but there are a few pieces under the theme "It's a Jungle Out There," and those pieces in 2019 and 2020, when I started back writing, they were all about violence. We had a lot of gun violence during that time, and I would have lost someone to gun violence. So that is actually what made me start back writing.
One of those people on the island who has been a part of poetry and telling the story through poetry has been Winston Farrell. And recently you would have had a chance to perform at one of his events in town at Golden Square. Talk to me about that encounter with the man, Winston Farrell.
Winston Farrell, I want to say thank you to him again for having me in Golden Square. It was truly an amazing experience. Even meeting him at the stage bar, everything just flowed really, really well from there. And I was very happy to do the performance with him. The piece he wrote called Who Am I? We did that piece together after my performances, and the audience enjoyed that as well.
And what did Winston say to you?
He said a lot of things. He's very encouraging. From the night we met at Sage Bar performance there, and from there we then spoke about the Golden Square event. So he invited me to it and then asked me a few questions about performing, and from there we discussed, and that's how I got into Golden Square. He's very encouraging and supported me. I appreciate that.
Well, Winston, if he's invested in you in this way, he means that you're special. And so that you are equally special for all of us. And so I want to share a little bit of your performance of Garment of Love, because I want to get it like all the rest of the audience as well. And I think our audience needs to hear you in your voice telling the story of Garment of Love. Let's take it.
Would I be the feeling inside that freshly knitted sweater, sipping on hot chocolate by the fireplace as a cold storm covers the world outside? Would I be safe from frostbite, or would I freeze? Would I die if all I had to wear was your love, to protect me, to reassure me, to care for me, and lead me to the most beautiful places? Would I get there? Where the sun only shines and the only tears are those from my lips, as she sings a song of gratitude and mercy. Where everything is warm enough, and the terrain is our skin as we travel across and through each other, with each other. Where nothing else really matters. Not the fancy cars, not society's opinions on whether we're a match, not the name brands. Because with your name on my lips and your tender love covering me, it's the only garment out there. I never...
Wow. No, I'm so enraptured by it. I wanted to hear more and to hear more. You're young. Where is this awareness coming from?
Thank you. From all the time I was growing up, I guess it's just the way I was raised. My mother, she is the reason that I am as confident as I am. She always, taught us growing up that we could be whoever we want to be, do whatever we want. So when I have a new idea, I don't really say, well, I can't do it. Of course, along the way, you would doubt yourself sometimes. You would need, some more words of encouragement. But all in all, that comes from my mother most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other spoken word artists across the island, across the world, and who are equally young, but there must be something about you, do you think, that makes you absolutely unique? What do you think that is?
Okay, in my piece called I Am Carmen, I do say that I am unique. I consider myself a constant collection of contemporary art. We need to learn and grow every day, and I like to take seriously the things that I go through in life. I want to value them, I want to learn from them and grow, and that is, part of what makes me me, a masterpiece in motion, as I would say, always learning and growing.
Does that make you quiet or does that make you loud when you're in public spaces?
Sometimes I'm a mix of both. My friends would never describe me as quiet. There are times where, you go places and persons are like, hey, okay, and they acknowledge you, and I really appreciate it. I don't think I'm too loud, but
What do you do for fun, Clarissa? What do you do? I mean, because the way you write says that you are so deep. So then you're wondering, when you come out of that depth, what does Clarissa do just to be superficial and surface? What do you do for fun?
I really enjoy the beach. I enjoy reading and, just relaxing, spending time with my close friends. I have some really cool, fun friends. So that is mainly it. If I'm not working or writing, I'm just relaxing, to be honest.
The way you write and craft your pieces says to me, and I could be wrong, that you've done a lot of reading as well. So reading and turning pages mean a lot to you.
Yes, and I do watch sometimes a lot of television. The way I speak and sometimes behave with my friends, I can be very animated, and people always say, you watch a lot of TV, but I think, I just have a lot going on in my head, so yes.
I love it. A lot's going on in your head and you've been able to pour it out. Are you hoping one day from your work so far to have a compilation of your work published?
Yes, definitely. I have a lot of pieces that I'm working on releasing. I am currently working with producer Olijo and The Way Studios to get more of my pieces out on YouTube. At the moment, you would find Garment of Love on YouTube, but the next piece, which I also performed in Golden Square, The Wind is a Woman, that is the next piece that will be out very soon. So I have a lot that I'm working on, and I would like to have a few books out as well.
Can't wait for all of that. So what's your YouTube handle?
Carmen. Just Carmen.
Just Carmen. Carmen is the word. So find her on
Carmen.
YouTube. Her name is Clarissa Williams. Is Carmen anywhere in your name at all? Carmen's your middle name or something?
No, it is not. Carmen is a name that I gave myself. It has Latin origin and it actually means poem. But the name was mostly inspired by Lana Del Rey, one of my favorite artists.
Ah, okay. Now we know the background to Carmen. Clarissa Williams, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Poet indeed, par excellence. You're one of our exceptional young people. We applaud you today. And I really do hope that more people go onto the social media platform and learn more from you, to experience what you've written, to feel that garment of love clothed in it, and to see themselves wear it or not, or to need to go shopping yet again to find that garment of love. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome indeed.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You're welcome. Likewise. Her name is Clarissa Williams. Carmen is her social media name. Find her and find it. We're taking a break here. When we come back, we'll unscramble some letters. Stay with us. Well, Patricia says, Pearson, we're so very proud of... Listen, Patricia, thank you. Here? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. All right, a break and we can...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, our friend Sonia Bowen in Nevis is watching, and she too is moved by the young people we've been showcasing this morning. She thinks Melissa is such a darling, such a talent indeed, and we want to thank all of you indeed. So, you ready to unscramble some letters, everybody? Y'all ready for this? I hope so. Time for you to give me a call, 228-5562 or 228-5563. I'm going to knot you up. Look at that word all jumbled up on your screen. Unscramble those letters. Tell me the word it makes and use that word in a sentence. So come on, let's get cracking. Let's go. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Unscramble those letters right there. CMAAJI. And tell me what word we can actually make from that scrambled word. And then you'll use it in a sentence. So come. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Pearson.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good.
Good. First name and parish?
This is Rhonda.
I know it's you. Yes, sweet Rons. What word do you see?
I see. I need to go to Jamaica.
You feel so?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, sweet Rons. Jamaica, and you use it in the sentence as well one time. Well done, sweet Rons. Thank you. Here. Have a good day. She's absolutely right. Jamaica is the first word. Let's give them another one. I'm going to challenge you with this one. Unscramble this one. This one right here on your screen. It's a different word now. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Come on. Show me how good you are. And when you unscramble it, let me know the words. There are two words. And then you'll use those words in a sentence. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Do not dilly-dally. Call me now. Don't let time get away from you or me. So let me know. What words do you see on your screen once you unscramble these letters? Good morning. Are they still there? Okay. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Don't get scared. Don't be afraid. I don't hurt. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Two words on your screen. Unscramble those letters. Tell me now the words that you can actually make when you do. And of course, you'll use those words in a sentence for me. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Kristen. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well today. Thank you for asking. What's the first name?
Alicia.
Alicia, what parish are you watching from?
St. Michael.
Hello, Alicia in St. Michael. What words do you see?
That little girl has a lovely pink ribbon in her hair.
Alicia, girl, you're spot on. Pink ribbon it is indeed. Thank you. Here. Have a beautiful day. I love it. You guys are getting the gist. I love it. I love it indeed. But looking at the clock, it tells me it's... Oh, you're going to give them... One more. Let me go. Oh, dear. This is filled with so many consonants. I don't know what you're going to do. I see one vowel, lots of consonants. What word do you think we can make with this? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Whew, I don't know. But what word can we make when we unscramble these letters? Of course, you'll use that word in a sentence. 228-5562 or 228-5563. While you work this out in your head, just to remind you, we're coming to you live from the St. James Parish Church in Holetown tomorrow, Friday, live on Morning Barbados with the Morning Report. So wake up early and tune in to hear all things St. James tomorrow morning. So no one can get this worked out. It is so easy. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi. What's the first name and parish?
Deborah, St. Philip.
Hi, Deborah. St. Philip. What's the word?
Stand by.
So tell me in a sentence.
I want you to stand by me and console me.
Ooh, look at you, Deborah. I'm not going to be your standby love.
I had that in mind too.
Deborah, thank you. Here?
Yes, okay.
Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. Oh, this has been truly fun. Bye-bye. Truly fun today. We have met so many interesting people this morning. I thank you so much for keeping us company as well. For my producer, Alicia Asgrant, our technical director, Roel Ford, and the father of little Melissa, Christopher Blenman, who has been at sound and at master control, Doreen, I thank all of you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you again as we come to you live from the St. James Parish Church tomorrow, Friday. Until then, take care. See ya. Bye-bye.
Wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.